happened. I kind of just felt coming on to be totally honest. I'm just kind of sitting here watching a few things on the YouTube. And it said to come on for a while and chat show. I was on earlier on, but I just had a feeling like just come on and have a chat, I suppose. So that's what I do. I'd be here for a while and I chill for a while. It's only 12 o'clock. I thought it was later than that. I thought it was 2 o'clock. I thought it was 1 o'clock, to be totally honest. Before I started, and then I looked at the clock. I was too busy watching documentaries and things. And sure, look, I turned up here. That's what happened. You wondered. But anyway, how are we? How is business? I have to just read through something. You know. Hello everyone. Sorry, I just kind of felt kind of lonely here. I was watching my documentary, so I said just come on for a while. I've kind of been just sitting here the last 2 hours just watching documentaries. I hadn't that much to do today, so yesterday was busy enough, but today I hadn't much to do this evening. Apart from a few emails came in, and I had to look at them. I went through them. One of them is, I don't know what to think of it, but we see what happens. Hello, Adam. You're back again, which is worse. I have to say Leitrim. Like, who wouldn't say Leitrim? Hello, Mickey. How are you? Good morning at this stage. We don't know. But yeah, I say we have a fun thing now to talk about Friday or Monday now. It's going to be it's going to be something funny, Anna. My eye doctor, please. But it's going to be funny. But we see what happens then. But anyway, how's everybody's night going so far? Friday's tomorrow. Thanks be to God. Thanks be to God. But yeah. I don't think put on music anyway. I think we're fine for the moment. I think about me, but if you're not hearing home. Yes. But yeah. There was a lot of stuff happening in Monaghan today. Wasn't a person found? There was a person knocked down by a cow in Monaghan. It was that in Castlevania because I'm getting confused because there's so many things happening in Monaghan all of a sudden now. Just give me a second. I'll look it up because I'm getting confused. I know a good few things happened today in Monaghan. It's just too much happening to try and comprehend. Yeah, like there was a man found dead in his house, in Monaghan there. And then there was a person knocked down by a cow in Monaghan, I think it was, too. And I think that was in Castlevania. I think that's what you're talking about. Yeah, the one in Castlevania. So I was fleeing to see him and stabbing. That's what happened. So 3 people have died in Monaghan in the last 24 hours. God only knows what's happened now. Connected to the murder. Oh, right. Yeah, well, it seems to be a great mess in it, of course. But yeah, it's a tragedy now, but hopefully they get the person, whoever it was. Because there was a hit and run there in Cavan about 3 months ago. It happened out there, just a bit outside Cavan town there, and they never got the person. They knocked down your man. Obviously, my father and mother knew him. He was a friend of theirs since they were a child, and he was knocked down and killed by a cow. But the person never told themselves, saying they were never found. And still to this day, have never been found. 3-4 months on, the guards never found them, even though they thought they got the person, but they didn't get the person. But probably never be found. Imagine doing that now, just hitting somebody. I know it could have been a mistake because he wasn't wearing reflective jacket. It was dark. It was 10:30 in the evening, and it was dark. But imagine living with that all your life now. You knock somebody down and you drove off, and you won't turn yourself in to, face justice. Well, if it's an accident, it's an accident. But one off and not telling anybody is another thing, and especially because the family has a right to know what happened and know who did it. Even though, again, it could have been an accident. Things happen like that. But it's the fact that he could have tried to save your man. He could have rang an ambulance. He could have done whatever. He could have tried. He could have made an effort. But no, just he ran away. But I do listen to. I do sometimes listen to him when I'm on YouTube. Not often when I'm on things. He needs to donate 10 grand to a different five different charities and the border. I've just seen that comment at him. But yeah, he came out with his apology as soon as I finished the stream. He must have been watching me. He came out with his apology with a crocodile tears and fucking said, "I'm very sorry, but I'm not going to do anything to show how sorry I am." And we're just like, "Bitch, please shut up. You're not helping anybody here." And that's what I was going to say to him. But he's useless. He's useless, lad. He's not happy at all. Hello, Sean. Again. If I could spell, I'd be amazing. He was listening to. Yeah, I watched True Crime documentaries. I was watching one there. I was watching documentaries there for the last 2 hours. What was I watching there? I can't remember what one was I watching. The last one I was watching. What was it? I was watching actually a good few. I was watching one about I was watching one about Thomas Jefferson. I was watching one about the the assassination attempts on Hitler documentary. But I was watching one about the Battle of Britain. So I was watching them three. Yeah. We're good. We're good now. But yeah, I was listening to Crime one day the other night too. It was about what do you call him? He was the Unabomber in America. He said bombs just after 9/11. He said bombs to different places. It was the FBI case file. I usually watch them. If I had a brain, I'd be dangerous. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to lie to you. If I could spell things too, it'd be nice. But sure, look. OMG. Yes, please. Send for help. Hello, Paul. Should have stayed in school. Me? Oh, yes. I didn't even know she was coming. I just happened to see it on Twitter. And I was like, they're all like little children there, like the teacher at the front of the class telling them, "Oh no, you have to think like this. You have to say this. If you don't say this, I'm gonna put you in prison for 5 years." That's basically what was said. Basically, at the end of the day, let's be fair. Let's call a spade, and say, what was the fucking point in her coming over here? Let's be fair. And who paid for her to come over, and who asked? Let's put it that way. Who asked? Who asked? She will be organising a job for Mickey Mountain. Yeah, when he gets kicked out in a few weeks' time. Yeah. He get a nice job in Brussels, though. He'll be well looked after. Same as Phil Hogan, when he left after his Irish Water tobacco. And she look at he's in the big company now, and she look, nothing has changed. Let's put it that way. And the same with this fellow Duke, Alan Duke. After his comments, he's going to slide into the underground. And this is the thing, I have to give the Anglo South and the Northern Sound a bit of slack here now. The local radio station, local newspaper. They should have made him, like maybe the World Tomorrow, they should have made him go on the radio tomorrow and give him a good telling off, Give him a good telling off on the radio. Because he basically just said it behind closed doors, "Oh, I'm sorry." But, put a bit of pressure on, get him on the radio station, ask him, actually let people of Cavan ring in to talk to him on the radio station and see what happens. And then he would know what pressure was like, and what people would say to him. Because again, he's ran away and he's not going to talk to anybody. He's clearly behind closed doors, Alan Duke. But but I have to say tonight, if Northern Sound doesn't do that tomorrow, then they're not much. They're not much use. Let's be honest. They have to do it. Like, let's be fair. They have to do it after saying that, because you can't just say "I'm sorry" and then just run off into the distance. and get a big job in buses or something like that, because that's what's going to happen. When you see, probably get a job as a Brexit negotiator or something like that. Like, just the irony here is just the iron, get the iron out at this stage. Can't wait for Leo. Oh, I know, it's going to be fantastic. Leo will solve the country's problems, don't you know? He's done it before. He made the country 10 times worse, but he'd do it again. But you look at it, I don't think we could get any worse. Let's be fair. I don't think we could get any worse. Like, let's call a spade when we're talking this. Still a bit of a band again. Not necessarily, but he was kind of just saying everybody's fucking, like, have guns and everything like that, and when you shoot you at a moment's notice. That's basically what he said. But, you know, like, he basically called everybody a terrorist, in other words, the way he phrased it. You know, everybody's very violent. Like, I can just pull out a gun here now and shoot my tablet in the face, you know, like something like that. Like, the way he kind of said it, like, you think everybody had a gun and was ready to go and commit mass murders and things like that. Like, I know there's obviously some people that are obviously diesel laundering and things like that, and they're dangerous people. And there's a few gangs too, Dublin gangs. But, you know, the woman on the street, the old woman on the street with the stick. So apparently she's a danger because she could have a samurai sword hiding in her stick and she could cut somebody's head off. So, you know. Like, he didn't, like, he made no sense. Well, I hope this thing comes tomorrow, because there's something I want to show you tomorrow, but hopefully it comes tomorrow. If not, it'll probably be Friday. No, not Friday. Fuck off. Tomorrow's Friday, don't be shit. Walking around with an AK-47, an RPG, a minigun or something like that, going around in tanks. Because that's the way he kind of was phrasing it. Like, everybody in Cavan has a tank, and they're going around in a tank and blowing each other up. You know, they hear him talking, you think it was the fucking ganging up for war. Did you think it was the fucking... Yeah, I think he's mixing Ukraine up with Cavan and Monaghan, and, you know, I think he's mixing that up. I think in his old age he's mixing it up. Like, let's be fair now. The way he kind of phrased it. Everybody in Cavan's very violent, and, you know, all that kind of crack. Everybody in the Bowden, it instantly just turns to violence. So, you know, and again, do you not realise some parts of Dublin, like, take for example, somebody raised, some parts of Dublin, you know, people wouldn't go down because they're that dangerous. The girls in Ballyfermot are terrified to go down some streets in Ballyfermot. And, you know, the word is not violent to use there. The word is just terrorism there. To bite him, yeah. Anyway, it would have been right if he said that. The Cavan people too mean. But, you know, he kind of said everybody's fighting in Cavan, which didn't turn out too well. At least people in Cavan be like, actually, fair enough. He's not telling lies if he says we're mean. You know, in fairness. In fairness. Take back the note, yeah. All ganging up with the Cavan army, the Donegal army, well, there's no such thing as Leitrim, so there's no such thing as the Leitrim army. The Loud army, you know, that they're all mobilising to go down and take Northern Ireland back. And sure, look at Cavan with Cockle, Cavan expanding, Cavan's taking all the counties over. Cavan's taking county down, everything. Belfast is going to be called New Cavan. We're going to take over Belfast, it's going to call it New Cavan. The same with Derry. We're going to call it Derry Cavanist. Derry Cavanist. And then we're going to take over, I don't know, Antrim and call it Cavan Antrim or something like that. Everything belongs to Cavan. Imagine that. That'd be good fun. Like, they're giving people ideas now. They'll be like, oh no, the Cavan people are rising up. They have enough. Hello, Tony. I know, sorry I'm laughing. This is, you're doing that joke on Leitrim. We need an apology. And Jesus Christ, you need an apology. I shan't look at. I'm not giving you an apology. You have to go and you have to go and I don't know, go and get number 40. Actually, speaking of number 40, I probably have to do a video later on. If anybody should be apologising, it should be number 40. Actually, that's true, actually. Because do you remember the fuck up situation with the Leaving Cert? Like, she caused more hassle with the Leaving Cert when I was doing it in 2021. In terms of You know the way they didn't know for 8 weeks? They kicked the fucking can down the road for 8 weeks. They didn't say what they're going to do, they were not going to do it, and what were they going to do. And Norman Foley was to blame, and particularly because she was so fucking stuck. Everybody else could see the wind blowing, basically saying that, not a hope in hell you could do it that year. But, you know, not a hope in hell. And Norman Foley was like, I don't give a shit. And just, and she never apologised. Like, she caused more hassle and more stress for everybody in the country. And never bothered to give a shit. She didn't give a shit. So, and look at the stress she's caused us in the moment. In every part of the education system. Like, the education system is actually falling to bits as we speak. Because they haven't got the teachers. So, you only got your junior sober, so well, congratulations. I hope you did well. It's 101 million euro to Leitrim charity. There's no such thing as Leitrim, so, I can put it into my bank account. I take the money and put it into my bank account. Be very fancy. Where am I fucking going? Sorry, I'm just giving out to the fucking computer. Computer, please help me. What am I taking away from life? Be I blame everyone. I hate life. Sometimes I don't know what I'm fucking looking at here. No bother, Adam. Take care. Enjoy tomorrow. Yeah, to get the results. That's just an example of what Norman Foley did to everybody. Fucked everybody over. Excuse my language, but quite literally she did. She pissed everyone off. Through Germany and the World Cup. Who? What? Number 42 Germany out of the World Cup? Oh, Jesus. Well, to be totally honest, I kind of could see the point. Because if number 40 went onto a football pitch for the football team, let's be fair. If they see no coming, the war would won. And at least then she'd be able to score goals, bring the football up and score the goals. Because everybody would won, and the fans would win, and the TV cameras would break, and everything else. So nobody would be able to say who the number 40 didn't win. She was actually cheating. You see how that all works. It all works now. It's all a big conspiracy. She's in with the Qatar government. I knew it. I knew she was up to that old tricks. I knew she was up to something. Where did I pull that out of? Like, I just pulled that out of my head. I don't even know how to fucking try and justify that or try to speak about that. Do not question me. I want to go to Dixie. Hooray. Hello guys. What am I thinking about in life? With a woman in charge in Qatar, you mean? I think long ago they would have done something about it if she was in Qatar. There would have been civil war. There would be war. But would they really? But Yeah, but number 40 is rightly, like, literally, if you've seen I've never seen somebody fuck up something so much, in terms of everything. Like, if you look at number 40 and see everything that she's fucked up, like, even the last few months, you have to wonder to yourself how she done it. Because I don't even think I could do it if I tried to do it. Like, I don't know how they didn't foresee. I could have told them if the number 40 went and got me for 5 minutes, because I went through the same situation last year where I couldn't get on the bus for a long time. And then they turned around to give free tickets, and they didn't even bother to tell Bus Aaron for a good while that they were going to give free tickets, right, to children and things like that. And loads of bus drivers were tired, loads of buses were taken off the road and weren't replaced. And then there was other places where they needed more buses, they needed bigger capacity. And nothing was ever addressed, nothing was ever talked about throughout the summer. They had all summer. They didn't bother to address any of it. They said, fuck it all. And number 40 was over there. And she said, fuck it all. I don't care. And then after, when the school year came in, and still to this day, there's people without buses, children without buses, that are at home because they can't get to school. So that's just one example. And she should have probably handed in a resignation and said, here you are, good luck. Because let's be fair, that was such a clusterfuck. And still to this day, like, there's still places in Cardiff the children can't get on the bus for school, and the parents have to bring, even though they paid money to Bus Aaron in some cases. And it still hasn't been sorted out in about 4 months back at school, and number 40 doesn't give a shit, basically. That's basically it. And I think the teachers' unions basically said, one of the teachers' unions said today, that number 40 just basically doesn't care. And I think she's just away with the fairies, like in what she's talking about. Like, she's just honestly away with the fairies. Like, the majority of them in fucking Darley are away with the fairies, but, Anyway, all the TDs must have been delighted seeing Ursula von der Leyen come in this morning. They must have been fucking delighted. I said they were up since 2:30 this morning, dressing themselves up, all done up to the last, going in to see Ursula von der Leyen. Like, they were all fucking delighted, I say. And really, what was the fucking point in her coming? Like, did she come over here just to stand and talk bullshit? Let's be fair. I think we heard it all before. Let's be fair. That's how I heard. That's basically what I heard of them. That's basically how it was. I know, Danny. I'm Irish in Fed, man. I used to be years ago, yeah, but not now. Not now. We think about it. I can't say we will, but we think about it. We might look into things now. What is happening here now? Oh yeah, that's him. Yeah, I know him. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So it's just something I seen now. No, so I was just looking at something on Twitter then. I was like, I know you from somewhere. I've seen you before. Do I have this thing off? I do. No, it is off. Okay. Did I just turn it off? I'm absolutely just the most dopey as fuck you could imagine. But anyway, how's everybody doing tonight? Any other fun happening? Because I kind of just want to talk, chat. I kind of feel very lonely. Not going to lie to you. Thanks for the God anyway. Tomorrow's Friday. Anyway, that's all I do. Because it can be a fucking long week, Might not take it, but it can be a long week. Boil her up, boil who up? No, don't do that now. We used to have a teacher in our school called Mrs. Kettle. And when she used to get ticked too, we used to say, don't boil the kettle over. Don't get the kettle steaming. That's what we used to say. But Miss Kettle was great fun in school. She was always a very nice teacher. So Tony would have got on well with us then. I was just wondering over here. Let me just ask this: whoever's here, who's here at the moment? Tony's here. Who else is here? Like, I was just wondering. Somebody was asking me earlier on in Twitter DMs. They were asking me about generally how much is the membership for a political party. And I don't know I don't think they said the name of the political party. No, they didn't say it. But generally speaking, like take for example, they became a member. I seen Cal. No, well, Jesus, you must be all delighted, Tony. No wonder I didn't see you around yesterday. But what was I going to say? Stop interrupting me, Tony. But yeah, I was going to say. If I had a brain of interest. But yeah, basically, how much would it be? Like, I just answered this fellow's question. Generally speaking, would it like be €10 a month, €30 a month? What would it be? Just briefly, does anybody know? Like a range, like just give them the range. I don't really. I should have probably asked him what political party he was talking about and maybe looked into it. I presume it's not Fianna Fáil, I presume. I presume that. Imagine if he turns around and says, "What do we become a member of Fianna Fáil?" I'd be like, okay, fair enough then. You know, you have to question some things. But did anybody know? Because I actually don't know. You don't know. Like generally, like I'm just looking for a general. Like it's a €10 a month, and I'd be just like it's about €10 a month or something like that. Like I probably should ask him. What I get back to you tomorrow. I ask him. I won't ask him now because he's probably gone to bed. But that was around 9 o'clock now. That came in on Twitter. He was asking me. He didn't say the name of the party. Maybe it could be Aintree or something like that, or the National Party. It could be. God knows what it could be. I don't know what party he's talking about. Howley does Fianna Fáil Fianna Gael. Howley is. Whatever but Sinn Féin or anything that could be. I don't know. But look, I try and find it out from. I try and find out which one he wants, and I look into it from. At the end of the day, he's entitled to do whatever he wants with his money, I suppose. There's nothing I can do to stop him. If he wants to become a member, he wants to become a member of some party. In some capacity, in some way, shape and form. Sorry, I'm just still laughing at one thing. I can't find what shears. What are you shearing, sheep? What? Oh, shearing sheep, there, lad. 100%. Wongish. Oh dear, it's cold. Yeah, it is nippy now. I was out there earlier on, and I was out there this morning. It was still nippy during the day. There, around 1 o'clock, I was out. No, I was out walking, and throughout the day I was out walking. But around 1 o'clock there, I found it very nippy. And then obviously this morning was nippy too. But generally, it kind of warmed up a bit there at 3 o'clock because I took off my jacket and I put it over my shoulder. Because I was a bit it was a bit warm. Hello, Sean. Good to see you. It's getting very long. I had a cut literally there the other day. You know, so it couldn't be that long. Alright, it was literally actually it's a week, yeah, because it was last Friday I got a cut. So yeah, but yeah, my hair probably goes long very quickly. I don't know. As I said to you before, John, I just kind of just go and say whatever you think to the barber, and he kind of does it. Well, Tony. What do they call? I just need to talk here with him. Sorry, I'm just reading this thing. It's hilarious. Honestly, it's too funny now. It's actually too funny. So excuse me. I just laughed. But it's just a funny meme somebody sent me. It's actually very funny. I'm so sorry. I just can't. I can't stop. So yeah, sorry. It's good. It's good to laugh at some memes now. It's good. They always can't beat the memes. But yeah, sorry. I'm just having a good laugh. Did you welcome the speech? I heard a bit of it, but I wasn't that fucking keen on the totally Sean. I don't see the point why she came over. You know, to tell us But the basis of what I hold, which was to commit to the Good Friday Agreement, X, Y, and Z. Well, I hold that before, so there's probably no need to come over and say that now. I don't think so, not tonight. No, we have to play Mafia. I have to do the couch review of the couch simulator. But probably not tonight. I just say what to talk. Probably tomorrow night, definitely. Where am I and what am I doing and how am I achieving it? Sorry, bear with me, lads. Sorry. I'm just sending this to this fella. I didn't even notice. I know there was all of them were there. The both houses he walked us were there, but I didn't. I seen a few of them there. Like it was just a clip I seen, basically. It was a few seconds. It wasn't long. Yeah, probably be talking. I say, give or take. Yeah. I'm so sorry. I'm just still taking that meme, and it's good. It's good to laugh, but it's very funny. I'm not going to describe, it, but it's very funny to think about. With the talkie, I don't think so. I highly doubt so. Maybe they might. I don't know. Usually just have to talk. Like usually I'm not nearly even here. Like usually we don't have it like during the day. It's usually be at, oh my god, what have I passed? But it usually be in the late evening we nearly have our talking things, because usually I'm out doing tidy towns, because I usually in the mornings, like on Christmas particularly, I go out and do tidy towns in the morning on Christmas Day. That's usually what I do. Hundred and one things. We see. I don't know. I might tip down. I might tip down. If it is 10:30 or something like that, I might. We see. But as I say, you should do tidy towns. You should do voluntary work Christmas morning. Because see, the show still has to continue, sure, if that makes any sense. Particularly down here, there's a swim that happens to one of the local lakes down here, and on a Christmas morning. And usually every year I clean up after, the way they have a bottle of water or something like that, they have a bit of food after the swim and things like that, before they go home for the dinner and things. So that's usually early Christmas morning. That's 9 o'clock on Christmas morning. So probably I would have to go down there to help clean up or whatever. So that's what I did last year. That was about 9 o'clock. They were finished about 10 o'clock, 10:30. They went in for a dip, for charity and things like that. So I cleaned up for them and all that crap. And the way, just have bottles of water, bring bottles with them and just share them among themselves and all that crap, and just clean up basically. Yeah. We'll see. I hardly they'll be back before 10:30 for mass, because it's usually 10:30 now on Christmas morning. Here. But I hardly doubt it will be back for 10:30 now. Unless I rushed, unless I extremely rushed and just said, here, deal with it yourselves. Something like that. Would not be ideal, but you know. I blame Jimmy. I blame Jimmy. Who's Jimmy when he's at home? Who are you? Why are you here? This does not make any sense. Why are you existing? Well, as I said before, I mentioned in the video, they're entitled to protest as well. Of course, this is the constitutional right to protest. And they're entitled to know who is in the building. And where they're coming from next Wednesday. They're entitled to know. And obviously one title, I'm sure you would agree with me, it shouldn't be just dropped there at a moment's notice. And that consultation with the community. And at the end of the day, it's the community that decides who, what goes on in their community. And the government basically have to listen to the community. That's the way I see it. And I think fair is fair, to be totally honest. Because they're entitled to know, I know my neighbours here. I know all the people around here. They know me. Everybody knows me now. I might not know their names. I know all the people around me, like in the general area of me. But some people outside the village, they would know who I am. Majority, everybody would know who I am. If you asked them, they would know who I am. They know probably everything. But I know who to know them to see. But basically, especially, you want to know who they are and where they come from. Because again, you just don't know who people are. Like, there is one person in the town there, and I wouldn't have known this until somebody told me this. But he's on the sex offenders list, and every time I see him, I keep a close eye on him. But I had to be told that I didn't know he was a sex offender. But I'm keeping a close eye on him. If he does anything, I deal with him before the gals deal with him, because he is on the sex offender registration list. So, and I looked into it. He is actually on it. So. And I wasn't told, and we in the area and things like that, and God knows what he could have done, So, he's a danger to society, but he is being monitored. So, you know what I'm saying? That's in the town there. It's on the upper skirts of the town there. I can't say where it is, but it's on the upper skirts of the town. I was up there a good few times, and I've seen him around a good few times. And too, somebody told him, one of his neighbours told me about him, and I looked it up and I went in about it. It is true. It is true. So. You just don't know who these people are. And the same as I didn't know who he was. I just presumed he was the only person going about his business. And didn't pass any marks on him. Nowadays, I'm keeping a close eye on him. Because again, you have to know who's in your community. You have to know what they're up to. No, but this fellow is an Irish person. I'm not saying this. But I'm just saying you don't know who these people are. I'm not saying they're sex offenders or anything like that. But I'm just saying you don't know who they are. Like, I didn't know who that fellow is. I'm sure you would agree, Sean. I didn't know who he was. And again, I have to keep a close eye on him now. Because again, it's in the public. He's basically in the public estate, and the God knows children around, and things like that. Keep in mind, he is very likely to offend again. That's what I was told. He is very likely to offend if he's under surveillance. So I keep a close eye on him when I'm up around there, because you do have to keep an eye out of these people, even though the girls are watching. But anyway. In this republic. Yeah, but I know, but he's a convicted sex offender. Like, I'm sure you would agree. People like him should be watched and looked at, and not pretended that he's not there. But yeah, they're not citizens. Of Ireland, though. But they are entitled under the United Nations Human Rights Committee. But again, it's the point that I'm sure you wouldn't want people just turning up outside your door and saying, not anything about it. I'm sure, like, take for example, if a person turned up in the morning outside your door and you said, "Who are you?" and then they just barged into your house and took your house, and you didn't know who they were and where they come from and things like that, I'm sure you wouldn't open your door and say, "Come in, came you with fault," things like that. I'm sure you wouldn't really, John. I don't think anybody would. Like, you would ask where they come from, why they're coming here and things like that. Like, it's nothing to do with. I'm sure you'd probably say it's racism and things like that. But at the end of the day, people are entitled to know. Who lives where? I know, but it's just kind of have an idea. Nobody talk to anybody. And if you see 100 or so young men, basically, and yourself, young people, when they have nothing to do, they're going to cause trouble. They're going to cause devilment. Let's be fair, because again, what do they have to do? They sit in that place all day, and they've nothing else to do. It's the same if you put any young lads, even Irish people, any Irish young lads too. Eventually, they're going to cause trouble because they have nothing to do. So either that be vandalism, things like that. They're going to find some way of entertaining themselves. Let's put it that way. And some of them might be criminal and things like that. Cause development, yes. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you were, like, take for example, Sean, I take for you, just take for example, if you were putting that ES building in the morning, and you were there for say 7 or 8 months, right, take for example, and you were bored out of your mind, you had a room, you had a bed, and that's about it, you had nothing else, right, and you're staring at 4 walls all day, and if you got out, would you not go and say, "Oh, you know what, I go and rob a shop here, I get something, a phone or something like that," or cause trouble, or, cause a bit of hassle, get a spray can or something like that, spray a few walls, cause a bit of hassle. Because again, these people have nothing to do. Like, it'd be different if they were out cleaning the streets or something like that. They have something to do. At least we could keep them occupied instead of cause trouble. It would happen to any, I'm sure you or me, if we were putting there, eventually we'd be like, "Fuck this, we're not going to sit in our beds all day looking at the walls." Again, it's just it happens. It does happen. It's proven to happen in other countries too. If you don't give these people, if you don't give people something to do, they're gonna look and try and cause development. Either that to be extreme development, low level development. Like again, some of them can. There's the cases in America and things like that. Well, not in America, but in Britain and things like that, where asylum seekers have done things like that. I don't know. You're making wild accusations. No, I know it's the down basis, Sean. It's talking wild. It's not really wild accusations. I'm just saying. I'm just saying what's happening. But again, the people of East Wall, I'm sure you would agree, they have every right to protest. There's nothing in the Irish Constitution that says they're not allowed to protest. Especially when they're not. I'm sure you would agree. First of all, I'm sure you would agree on this point. They should have been at least told that the people were moving in and they just didn't turn up out of the blue. I'm sure you would agree. Regardless of who they are, regardless they come from Ireland, they come from God knows Timbuktu, I'm sure if you would live beside them, you would say, I would like the local authorities to talk to me about this, as my local councillor, to say, these people are coming here, and just to leave and just to tell you, instead of just waking up one morning, there's loads of people here, and you're obviously going to ask questions. You're going to be like, where do these people come from? Regardless if they come from Tipperary or Longford or where, Oh, I know, but at the end of the day, there's some concerned children, like there's young women there and there's young children there at the protest and things like that. And it doesn't seem like this way. I think they're just concerned about their children. And I'm sure they're entitled. I'm sure if you had a young child, or if I had a young child, I know a young mother there. They used to go to my school. She's about 19 and she's pregnant with her child. And the child's about a few months old, about 10 months old at the stage. And I'm sure she's very protective. Like she takes the world for her child and she wouldn't let anybody go near her unless she knew who you were and where you come from and things like that. She wouldn't let anybody go. Like she knows me and she would let me, talk to her, but she wouldn't let take for example you, Sean. She'd be like, who are you? Why are you coming towards me with my child, in my pram or things like that? But if I went over, she'd be like, oh yeah, it's Adrian. I remember. Yeah, I know you from school and things like that. But it's just that if you have a child, you'd be very protective too. If you live beside and loads of people turned up out of the blue, like there's mothers like that. Like if you having ownership of a child or management of a child, you have to protect them. You do have to protect them, and I can understand why young mothers and things like that be concerned. Particularly again, there's a lot of young men who would be more powerful than obviously a woman. Would take more power if they were going to do something. Take for example, it's the same with any place. Young men are more powerful than young women and things like that. Can overpower them. But I'm sure you get what I'm saying. Like that young woman there. I'm sure if she was up in that, she's not racist or anything like that at all. If she was in East Wall there, she'd be concerned about child because she's only 10 months old or so, give or take, and God knows what they could have done. They could kidnap the child. I'm just saying. I'm not saying hypothetically they could do it. One of them might just say I might get a few bucks out of it or something. It might be a sick joke, It's again, you don't know who these people are. Like if I went up to and say, like, I'm just saying you again, using you as an example. If you went up and she didn't know you, she wouldn't have you anywhere near. She'd probably bring the guard and say the guards, this man's harassing me, even though you just said hello to her. Unless you knew, because she's very protective of the child. That's the thing. But yeah, they're entitled to protest. I might not support everything they say, but they're entitled to protest. I'm sure you would agree, Sean. It's in the Constitution. There's nothing that anybody can do to stop them. They're entitled to protest. As long as they don't cause violence, as long as they don't break windows, damage property, they can protest to forever if they wish to. I'm sure you would agree. There's nothing that can be done. It's different if the weather broke every window in East Wall or something like that. Then I'd be like, that's going a bit too far. They're entitled to go and have the voice of sword. And it's about that, at the end of the day. Sure, would agree, because it is a fundamental pillar of democracy, having your voice heard, having the right to protest, Sure, you would agree. Regardless of how stupid, like it might like just stop oil and things like that. It might be so stupid what they're doing, but in the end of the day, they're entitled to protest. They're not entitled to obviously destroy artwork and things that I've said about that before, but they're entitled to go on the street and protest just stop oil in England. I might not agree with the sentiment or whatever, but at the end of the day, they have every right to protest. But at the end of the day, as I say, throwing painted windows and things like that's not acceptable, obviously, I'm sure you would agree. But it's not. But they're entitled to protest and have their voices heard. But look at Sean. It's up to the community. It's up to the community. Again, as I say, it should be a meeting about it. They should talk to the community. If so, they should say to her. They should say to the community side. you would at least tell them where they come from and things, and maybe get to know the asylum seekers to bring them in and talk to them. The community can talk to them, whoever the community representatives and things like that. But again, it's up to the community. It's not really up to me. It's not up to me to say what they should do and what to do. It's their community. It's kind of up to the community leaders to say, look at, this is the concerns we have. We want it aired and things like that. And that's the end of the day. It's up to them. I can give my views on it, but again, at the end of the day, it's up to the local representatives, local TDs, up to the whoever's over the organisations, things like protesting. It's up to them to sit down and talk and say, look, this is our concerns. If you just tell us where these men have come from and things like that, and maybe when we get to know some of the men, we give to things like that. We get them out in community projects or something like that, cleaning the streets or something like that. Just to get the community to get used to them, and things like that. Maybe you might be like, fair enough then, But again, it's just the fact that nobody said anything about it. They turned up out of the blue. There was basically no discussion about it. In my view, it's not the right way to go about things. But it is like there's some sentiment up in Dublin that is very harsh. We'll admit that in East Wall. But again, there is a lot of genuine concern. Like, I don't think there'd be mothers with young kids out if there wasn't genuine concern. I know that some people might be just using it maybe just for trying to cause trouble or something like that, right? But there's people that are genuine concern, and that's the vast majority of people, Oh, I know, but it's the local authorities. But it is under the local authorities. The local authorities could say flat out if they wanted to, we disagree immensely. The councillors and things like that. If the people it's the same as if it happened in Cavan here. Cavan County Council could turn around in the morning and say, no, we're not allowing it. We won't allow it. And all the councillors could vote on it and say utterly we won't allow it. And the councillors will send a letter to the Minister for Integration, Roderick O'Gorman, and the Minister for Roderick O'Gorman would have to listen to them. Would have to listen to the councillors. If they all voted, take for example, because it would be a vote. Oh, I know, but generally, they can overrule, of course they can. But at the end of the day, if the councillors do, if all of them utterly reject it and said, utterly no, they would have to sit down with the local councillors and we'll have to talk to them. Because they can't just overrule them and say, we're not going to discuss about it, because they have to discuss about it. And that's the thing. Like, I know at the moment they're talking about modular homes for people up there the Cavan County, they're not weak now. I'm going to say that. I don't think you have doubt with local government. They're not weak now. Cavan County Council and things, and they're not weak. They're currently prosecuting people for illegal dumping, and they're not weak now. They're going after them. And there's big fines they're getting. So they're not weak, Sean, I will say that. They're not weak. There's people that's been doing it for years and they're only coming up now to court. And one of them has a €46,000 fine to pay. So, and they're looking for either him to pay it or go to prison. So that's what they were given at the moment. So that court case is still going on. I'm not going to say much more about it, but so he most likely will go to prison for it. But anyway, they're not slow. In rare cases that happens. But again, it's been going through the years and X, Y, and Z. But local authorities generally they do hold some authority in the areas, in local areas. They do hold a lot of authority. And they do have a lot of local knowledge that the local government, like the higher ups in Dublin, wouldn't know about, if that makes sense. By the central government, I agree on that, but the Gaeltacht of the councils, the mayor of the councils, basically can oversee the chief executive is appointed by the government. I will agree on that. It shouldn't be the case. It should be appointed by the people. The same as the Gaeltachts, the council. Councillors, the majority of them all of them are councillors, like the same John Moore Phelan's the councillor here, the mayor of Cavan at the moment, and they will soon elect a new Gaeltacht. But the councillors vote on that. The councillors vote for each other to become Gaeltachts. But I know, but the generally Salem area was, it's not really. Yeah, I agree. I know it's no power. Yeah, I know that. But in Salem area was, but they still have to voice the people because they're still elected by the people. Like John Paul Phelan has 9,000. He got 9,000 votes in the election, so he still has that mandate by the people to be the mayor of Cavan. But he still has the voice of the 9,000 people who voted for him, and said that he has the authority of the 9,000 people. And if the people of Cavan say, we don't want this direct provision centre here, we utterly refuse. They have to respect the will of the people. Simple as that. That's what democracy is all about. It's about the will of the people. It's not about what the central government says. They could come again. You have inalienable rights to speak your mind, and if you disagree with the government can't do much to do it. Oh, I know, but local councils have more authority. I will agree, like in American things that. But I can just say it straight. If there was if Dublin City Council entered that wanted to do something with East Wall, they could do it overnight. If they said utterly no, we won't allow it. And I think there was something talked about there wasn't any fire. There was no fire inspection done in the place in East Wall. I don't know much about that, but I've heard somebody say that about it. I think it was I can't remember who it was. Somebody mentioned it to me that it was that they had no fire. There was no fire inspection or no fire equipment in there. So and obviously that's against the council's regulations. So obviously it wouldn't be safe to put people basically in it. So we have to see what happens. That's what I think. But I'm sure you get what I'm saying. But anyway, they do have authority now. The local authorities they can do if they wanted to use it. That's the thing. They don't. Sometimes they don't choose to use the power. Oh, I know, but I'm just taking for example. They can do things. I know you can't believe everything you read online, but a lot of But I know, but you can't believe OT all the time too. You have to look yourself for media. You have to try and find the information yourself. You can't be spoon fed. As one person said to me one time at school, you can't be spoon fed everything. You have to read for yourself. You have to look into things. As I said one time, the person said to me about a project. You can't believe everything that somebody says. Even the teacher thinks that they can get it wrong. People can get things wrong. But you look into it yourself. You find the information. Things that again, you have to educate yourself. You can't believe everything that's fed to you, Sean. Take example. If you're reading the newspaper, it could be the person who's writing the article might be biased. Things like that. You have to look for the information. You'd be like, take for example, it's about a pothole on the road there, and the person in this media article is saying, look, the pothole is down here beside Mrs. Clark's house, right? And not a bit about it. Mrs. Clark's house is way down the other side of the road, and it's not outside the house. And you're like, right, I'm going to take it upon myself to go out to the road and to see where the pothole is, right? And you'd be like, no, it's not beside Mrs. Clark. So this man is misleading me on the internet. So yeah, you have to look for yourself to find the information, to look into it. It's a bit. I know there's a lot of fake news out there. And there's a lot of things been thrown everywhere. But you have to find the information yourself. Like I'm sure you would agree, Sean. You have to look into it yourself. You have to try and use your brain and say, this doesn't sound right. This doesn't sound right. I have to look into it. I have to think about it. But sources respect. I know, but they can lie too. Respect for sources can lie. There's been many times I've heard OT and things that's getting things wrong. Respect for sources nowadays. Everybody's in the main. Like take for example Biden's laptop. Hunter Biden's laptop. The New York Times and things like that said it was conspiracy theory, but it's fact now. It's a fact. It is actually a fact. But yeah, they're a respectable source, and they were hiding it before the 2020 election. Take for example. And it is a true story. I know you might say it's a conspiracy, but it actually is a true story. They've confirmed it. It's actually up in my Twitter if you want to see. It's from the New York Times. They actually confirmed it, that it actually is a legitimate story. Even though before I could get to the article and said that they actually said it was fake news, it was Russian propaganda, but they actually admitted it was true. So I'm just using this as an example. I know you probably say it won't be an Irish. It's not an Irish thing, but also we're going with that narrative too. And the same with the Irish Times, that it was fake news and X, Y, and Z. I'm neutral, but that doesn't matter to the debate here. But I'm just saying that's just in the perfect example. A respectable source, as you say, misleading people, and then coming out and saying after the election's over, we were telling lies. Basically that was it. But I'm just saying, for example, OT said about it too. The OT mentioned about it and they said it was Russian propaganda. I remember them saying it. I'm sure you'd agree it is true now. If you look it up now, you see articles on it and you see it. And from the New York Times, and I think the Irish Times done an article saying it was true. It was the Irish Mirror, I think it was the Irish Mirror. It might have been. It was one of the Irish Times, the Irish Mirror. It's all the same with the Irish this, Irish that. But I'm sure you'd agree. Like I'm sure you've seen the articles before the 2020 election saying Biden's son's laptop is a conspiracy theory. And they were reliable sources. They were reliable. It was not only Joe saying it. Like only Joe's were saying it. But Oh, I know, but I'm sure you would agree. I'm sure you agree on the fundamental here that you say about a reliable source that was the New York Times saying it was conspiracy. Even CNN said it, and the most trusted name in news said it was conspiracy. It was Russian propaganda. It was Russian bots pushing this to try and not get Joe Biden elected. I'm sure you heard the stories before, Sean. I'm sure you'd agree on that they were totally wrong in doing that. And again, you probably would say to me they were lying, but that CNN says the most trusted name in news. So, can you explain how the most trusted name in news when they were lying about it? And they knew they were lying about it. And they just wanted to make Joe Biden look better. Because again, some of the stuff on Hunter Biden's laptop is very disturbing. You have to keep an open mind. I do agree with you on that. But I'm sure you would agree CNN did lie. They did mislead people because of the election coming up in 2022. Same on Twitter too. They're trying to block some sources that be coming up to the election, but too with Hunter Biden and stuff like that. Before Elon Musk took over and things like that. But I'm sure you would agree. Oh, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm just saying. But you're saying trustworthy sources, like you CNN claims to be the most trustworthy news source. So they lied about that stuff. And OT did, and OT followed the narrative of CNN and things like that, and they said it was a conspiracy theory. The Irish Times said it was a conspiracy theory. Everybody in the Irish media said it was a conspiracy theory. And it is true now. It is true, and they did confirm it. The Irish media won't touch it in a nutshell because OT won't touch it because they don't lie. They don't want to give any itch at all to say that Joe Biden's not doing a good job and things like that. I don't watch Fox News. At the end of the day, at least I will say something about Fox News. They were the only news crowd in America, as far as I'm aware. They kind of said, they were talking about it before. They said this was real. This is not fake. And people said, and CNN called them conspiracy theory and things like that. But they were actually right in that story. They were actually right because I remember hearing it from Tucker Carlson, was the person and I heard about the laptop. So way back now, probably a few months before the election, 2020. And at the time I was very hesitant. I will admit it. At the time I was very hesitant. I was like, it couldn't be that he just left the laptop in with a repairman and never collected it again. And I was like, that could not be true. And then I looked into it a bit more. Right, I heard more about it. I couldn't believe that he left the laptop because if I left my laptop in, I would go back and collect it. I wouldn't leave it in the place, and especially if you paid for it, things like that. But it was true because again, Hunter Biden, there's some questionable stuff on his laptop. There does need to be looked into and does have to be questioned. Particularly deals with China and things like that. But yeah, my point is too, it's not really, as one teacher said to me, there's not really any trustworthy sources. What you think is trustworthy. That's the thing, what you think is trustworthy. Nowadays, it's like the Thin Blue Line. You ever watched the show called The Thin Blue Line? It was in the British programme. So, you seem to be listening to a lot of right-wing media. No, I don't listen to a lot of right-wing media. I kind of think for myself. And I listen to every side. I listen to all the sides in the media. And I take what I listen to all sides, basically. And I say, look at what's true and what's false. And I think about it in my head. I listen to both sides. I do listen to both sides. Like, as you see, I follow CNN on Twitter and things like that. I see what they say. Do I watch the InfoWars? I don't watch the InfoWars. No, I don't watch that at all. Like I follow CNN, I follow Sky News, I follow all the medias on Twitter, and I look at their medias every once in a while, and I say, it could be true what they're saying, it could be false, and I kind of toss and turn, and I say, look at, and I try and take in my mind and say, what's true here? What should be? No, I don't watch. No, I think I watched I looked at the what's. That's about it. No, I didn't. I watched the what's. Yeah, we watched the what's. Yeah, but I didn't watch it again. But yeah, basically that's that. But anyway. But it's the same with the missile that went into Poland there. Everybody was jumping on the bandwagon saying Russia's attacking Poland, and the media were all saying, oh, this is the direct attack on NATO, let's go to war, And before, about 5 minutes after what happened, they were all like, Russia's attacking Poland, let's send in the army, things like that. And then it turned out to be Ukrainian, and that was all quietly dropped. And there was no questions ever asked again about it. And every media went riot. Every media jumped on the bandwagon and said it was Russia. They done it. But yeah, do you see what I mean? And you probably say every trustworthy, it was literally every news network said it was Russia, and it turned out to be an anti-Ukrainian. Well, yeah, I know, but the media my point is, Sean, they should have been conservative a bit and said, we wait and see what happens. We wait until the evidence is gathered and see what happens. Instead of fighting the people and going mad, because again, all social media nowadays, as one teacher said to me too, because I done a social media class too when I was in school. It's all about clicks. It's all about clicks and articles and the money and the ads and things like that, particularly online. Whatever, but not many people watch the TV news. It's all about clicks, and I see many articles. I even looked at BBC articles and things like that on this, and they're saying it's Russia. Russia's attacked NATO country. Things that this was the article. Russia attacked NATO country could lead to an escalation in tensions. This was the article's big headlines, and then it was quietly dropped. It was quietly said in the bottom line, "Oh, it turned out to be Ukrainian," and then it was quietly dropped. But yeah, Oh, I know it's always sensationalized the news, but it's not the fact. You're saying trustworthy sources. they didn't they didn't say let's gather all the information and wait. We reported and saying that they miscited, but we have unconfirmed reports on who fired it and where it came from. They were all saying instantly it was Russia. So, media nowadays, as I say, you have to believe what you think is true, as they say, because no, nothing's true nowadays. Basically, the tin blue line. It's the tin blue line. You have to believe what you think. And you have to use your brain and try and process and say, this could be true, and then try and work it out in your brain. Because again, you can't be spoon-fed things. You have to believe for yourself. Because again, some people could have a narrative they want to push and things like that, and things like that. There's people that want to push a narrative and things like that. I don't know if that make any sense. I'm probably talking rubbish. But yeah, it's not as you say. It's not all black and blue. It's not all black and black. You always have to read in between the lines. If that makes any sense, Sean. Oh, hello everyone. Sorry, there's more people here. I was too busy debating. What time we have? 1 o'clock. Ooh, what's happening here now? Oh, no, I say I'll stay up for another while. I've woken them all, but at least it's a half day tomorrow. That's a good thing before this. Even though I would say it shouldn't be a half day, but anyway. We'll see what happens, because they are talking about a 4-day week for the civil service, which I would be against, but anyway. We'll see when that comes. That'll be a few months, that'll be actually probably next year, so they probably will talk about that. Because the government ministers and things, they work too hard at it. What my career ambitions? Not really. I don't really have any career ambitions. Just I'm happy enough creating the streets at the moment. So you basically have very little career ambitions when you're at that. When you do that kind of stuff, you're just kind of, I'm here now. I might as well do my job and serve the public as best I can. And by hell and back, I'm going to do it. And that's what I'm doing at the moment. So I have literally very little ambitions. Like I'm not like if you think I'm going to say I'm fucking all hyped to join, to vote in the next election. I'm all fucking hyped about it. Give or not, if I don't get elected, if I do get elected, regardless if I'm going for it or not, I'm going for it. I would much rather go and clean the streets and things like that because it's more respectable. Things like that. Of course, if that's the way it is, if I don't get elected, if I do go for the next election, I won't lose a day of sleep about it. I just say to the public, I'm going back to serve you by sweeping the streets and keeping the streets clean. And I think that'd be very noble. And instead of looking for the €80,000 a year as a council, I think it'd be better just to say, look, I'm happy enough with my $350 a week. You'd be getting upwards of nearly €1,000 a week for being a council. I'd be happy enough with my $250. I wouldn't miss it. As I say, if what you never had, you never miss, and that's as simple as that, Sean. I'm sure you would agree yourself. Oh no, I wouldn't take it. If I got it, I wouldn't take it. To be totally honest, I wouldn't take it. It'd be better to give it to a family man. Like, there's a few people working with me that have families, and it's better for them to get it. Like, why should you? I'm happy enough to go and clean the streets, do the mucky work, picking dog shit. Again, I'm sure you would agree that's a respectable. I'm sure anybody, I'm sure even yourself, Sean, you would rather do something like that too. It's a respectable thing. You're serving the public. You're doing your best. You're doing your work for your community, for your county. I'm sure you're the same as me, Sean. You would go out and you'll put your life, like again, as I said, the dog shit too. I'm the only one that's doing it in the council because again, you can get hold of the diseases of it. That can kill you. It can kill you, cause blood clots and things. That can kill you stone dead, and it's a very painful time, and there's no cure to it. So I'm sure you'd be the same as me. You would put yourself out for the community and put yourself in danger for the community, and that's what we need. So we meet people like you too, the same, John. So I think you and me are nearly on the same level, in the civil service and kind of thing. In terms of that, I'm sure you would agree in nearly everything I said there. Don't be exploited. Look at this is the thing. You have to just do your bit, and that's the end of it. You have to just do your best and things. It's nothing really about exploited. You're there to do a job. You're not there to whinge and quib and cry. Even though I do whinge and quibble quiet, but the reason why I whinge and quibble quiet because I want more done, I want things done more efficiently. There has to be more done because the public deserve the best in the civil service, and that's why I whinge. I don't be worried about it's too long of hours, like Ryan said. But hello, Claire. How are you? How are you doing? Seems like hard work, but that doesn't mean we need more people to do hard work. Hard times create good people, and that's what I say. Like if you work hard, like if you go out and bust yourself, you earned your money. That's the thing, Sean. I'm sure you would agree. You have to go out and earn it. I go out every morning and I sweep the streets, come way ahead in the shine. There's times I had to pick up dog shit, and I tell you the smell of it. And I even had to sweep up human shit. Well, no, not sweep up, but clean up human shit many a times in toilets in the town there. It was all over the floor, diarrhea and things like that. A warm office. But but I'm sure you would rather serve the public too. But at least just serving the public, and that's a more noble thing than sitting as a councillor €80,000 a year, and saying to people I'm doing my job. At least I'm going out and showing I'm doing my job, and then the serving of it. I'm sure you would agree, John. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Tony. But would you what the way you become a part of it? Like I wouldn't miss it to be totally like if I didn't if I say won the next election I didn't become a councillor and I'd be like shit luck would I go back to my cleaning the streets and I wouldn't give a shit. The rest of my whinge and quip and cry about it. They'd be like, oh I miss my 80. I want to get my €80,000 a year, but because I'm barely getting about probably €30,000 a year, probably something like that. Probably taxes and all that put into it. Probably about 30,000. Like the general only council people would be getting about 60, like 50 to 60, because they'd be getting 650 a week. They'd be getting more than me, a week. So, hello, Kev. But yeah, they'd be getting a bit more than me. They'd be getting a decent bit more than me now. Like I haven't claimed any of my like of the government. I've claimed no fat back or anything. I've claimed nothing back. Like I'm owed so much in fat, and I haven't claimed it. So I'm not even going to intend to claim it. Like again, I'd rather that go towards keeping the streets clean, and that's the hope it does. Because again, at the end of the day, I'm sure you would agree, Sean. I'm happy enough where I am. I'm not going to lose any sleep. If I'm cleaning the streets for the rest of my life, so be it. I'm willing to. I came this far now. I'm willing to die on this hill, and that's as simple as that. So get the tax, Mac. I'm just not bothered to go and look for it. I'm sure I'm owed probably about 4,000 or 5,000. Probably God knows how much it could be. It probably is 2,000. It'd be over 1,000, and it's well into thousands. I'm owed, but because every year you can claim tax back. But I'm working the last nearly 2 years now, so you'd probably be entitled to. I don't know how much it'd be, but it's obviously something because they did say about it before. But I never looked into it. I'm not bothered to look into it. I'm happy enough for I get $350 a week, and I'm happy enough with it. I'm not going to whinge about it. Again, you just have to put up with it. At the end of the day, you have a job to do. So you're in an office anyway, Sean. I thought you were working outside. I thought you were doing outside work. I thought you said to me before. It could have been somebody outside. I might be thinking of somebody else. There was somebody once who was saying they were working on something. Or working in construction. I thought you were working. I think it was you, was it? It might have been somebody else. Construction. Yeah, somebody said about construction once before. I can't remember who it was. They were working on a big construction site. No, well, you don't really have to have ambitions. As a civil servant, the way you see it, it's different if you're going to do your own thing. If you want to go open your own business or something like that, then you can be ambitious. But in the civil service, you're there. You have one aim and one aim only. I keep saying this all the time to councillors and things like that. You have one aim to serve the public, come hell or shine. You have one ambition is to serve. That's the end of the day. That's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that matters, that the public is served to the best of your ability, and that you do your best. Again, the only thing you can do is your best. And that's what, again, if you work in the public service, you would agree with me in the civil service. And like a lot of people differ completely in the civil service, which shouldn't be the way. There should be people in the civil service and the public service here in the Garda Síochána and things like that, who want to serve, who are dedicated to serve the public. But in the civil service, even in Cavan, across the county, and across the whole country, the civil servants that are just there for the money, and they don't give a shit about what the county is and how the county is looking and how everything that. You have to put the public first, regardless. If you again, as I say, if you left in the morning, Sean, I don't know what. I think you might have said construction before, but take for example, you left construction now in the morning, and you went off into your local town in Belgium. Take for example, local town, what a local council district or whatever it is, and you said, "You look it. I want to go out and I want to solve the Belgian people. I want to solve the Belgian king. And making sure the streets are clean up. The kids, take for example Brussels City Council, something like that. I work in politics. Oh, you work in politics, all right. So you work for the Kingdom of Belgium. But you should take it back your entitled to. Oh, I know that, but I'm not asked to. Let's put it that way. I'd rather go towards cleaning the streets and things like that. Like I don't know how, but it's well probably over in 2000 or something like that. Like I'm not bothered with it. If you know the answer, I'm happy enough for it not happening. Like as I said before to you, Kevin, what you didn't have, you won't miss, and that's the thing I was brought up with. I was brought up in a poor enough family, and what you didn't have, you didn't miss, and that's as simple as that. And that's so true. What you didn't have, you won't miss. You should be grateful for the things you have. Like I'm still able to keep going. I'm still able to keep myself going, and that's the main thing. It truly is the main thing, regardless of how much you're by this and that and the other. So I know I'm entitled to it, but I'm just not asked. Like it's better just to keep it. But yeah, I'm sure you agree. Now, if you left in the morning now, a career plan. No, I'm intending to do this until the day I drop dead. Will either be tomorrow or next week, 2 years from now. I'm intending to sweep the streets. Only for it may be in 2024 we see with the council elections, but yeah, But what do you do in politics? Just for example, you work in politics, but what exactly do you do? I'm assuming you work in the European Parliament or something like that, because you seem to be very interested in the European Parliament. You're hardly one of those NGOs, are you? With the €4 billion budget a year. And political advisor. Very fancy political advisor. Very fancy. I'm assuming to Fine Gael or something like that. I always thought you worked in construction, to be honest. I mean, I don't know who said that to me. It might have been somebody else. See, so many people. I was to say, no, that's okay, no problem. That's okay. But I'm sure you would agree, but I'm sure you would rather go out and do a hard day's work. Because let's be fair, talking to politicians all day, I'm sure it would drive anybody to insanity. Let's be fair. Advising them, because the number 40 has 3 advisors, and then it's basically fuck knows what they're doing for anybody. I'm sure you would agree. I'm sure you would rather in the morning go out and do your bit for your country and serve your community on the ground, like doing the bits on the ground, not in the chamber or anything like that. I don't know. You might not be the same as me, but I'm assuming I can get the feel off you, Sean, that you're dedicated to serve. You're dedicated to put yourself out there. You're dedicated to move forward and keep serving the public, regardless if it kills you. Yeah. Oh, I know, but in what reality are you talking about? In the shadow realm. Oh no, I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying. This is a kind of interest to see. I'm just kind of saying, John. I'm not making any presumptions. If I was making a presumption, I would say I'm only presumptionizing. Like I think earlier on I said something, but I'm only presuming. I think that's what he is presumed. I presume, yeah, you were in construction. I think I said that earlier on. I'm not making any something. I'm just talking out loud. We don't answer this stage. Whoa, Jesus, Kevin, with 102 million things. What's this? Yeah, the could be for Jeff Jams. Yeah, I know, but yeah, I'm not saying you shouldn't claim tax back. I'm just not really. I'm happy enough for what I have at the moment. But yeah, I'm not saying you shouldn't claim back money, Kevin. But it's just that I'm just rather it will go to something else than if I come back. Because again, at the end of the day, I get paid every week, and I'm happy enough. I don't need more money than that. I'm happy enough. And I think that's the best thing to do. Like, unless I needed the money, if I really, really needed it, maybe. But at least then I could probably go and say, oh, look, I'm owed this much by the government. In fact, basically, in whatever you call that kind of thing, you claim back every year. Fat or whatever it is. So I kept forgetting so much fucking things. paying to. But yeah, I understand, Kevin. Yeah, like people pay enough in tax already. Like half of my money goes towards the government too, every week. But you look at that, as I say, I'm not bothered. But really, I'm happy enough with what I have. Dr. Joe. No, I can't know what the number if he's a political advisor or something. But I'm happy enough. I can a plan, what kind of career plan? No, I'm happy enough. I don't need that bullshit. Cleaning the streets is better than anything. That's good. I'm sticking with that, Sean. Like you should. I would suggest you should try it out for a day, and you probably would love it. I say you actually would love it. Just serving the public, doing the bit. Doing the bit on the streets of Belgium, on the streets of Brussels. Sorry. I'm sure you would agree. It would be good fun. It'd be a good experience. I'm sure you would like it. If you done, like, say for example, you went to Belgium City Council in the morning, not Belgium City, Brussels City Council, and said, look, I want to try it out for a day. Yeah, only furs and horses sweeping the streets, yes. But yeah, it's a respectable career now. It is a respectable career. You might be looked upon down by society, but it's a respectable career. You get the work done, you put in the hours, you do the labour, and that's the end of it, really. It's just I'm very, very different in the West and in the civil service. Which is why I'm not liked in the civil service right now. Because I have a different view of it, yeah. Doesn't involve encourage people to use private. Yeah, I know that, to be totally honest. I wouldn't satisfy a private hospital. I'd rather just drop dead and die slowly, than go into a hospital. I kind of regardless of how sick I am from now on, I think I'd just rather drop dead. Like I was in hospital there when I mentally was unwell there back in 2016 and things like that. I told you, I said after that I'm not going back, regardless if I'm about to drop dead, I just drop dead and that'll be it. I'm not going to go back. And I'm determined about that. Like even if I was injured on the road there, I even said to one person I know, if I drop dead in the road, if I drop dead of a heart attack or something, like just let me die slowly and painfully. If that's okay, or quickly, whatever. But not to wing an ambulance or things like that. Because I'd rather fucking not go through that kind of shit. It needs to be quick and pain for that, hopefully. Quick and painless. Maybe you could be. No, I wouldn't be a bus driver now. Why would I be a bus driver now? Why would I? The cleaning the streets is a lot better respectable career than a bus driver now. Like it's only a few hours. Like I know you'd be only doing one. It depends. Hello, Fiona. How are you? Just came to say good night. Put on telly for a piece. Oh, I know, but not to the certain extent. Like I know bus drivers that drive local link buses, and should look at, as they say, it's the most easy thing ever. They just drive around. It's simple as that. It's easy. Like they don't do much. Let's put it that way. Like when you're out cleaning, like as I say, I haven't been up. I was up at 6:30 this morning getting ready. I was out at the door at 8:00, and I didn't come back until 5. And then as soon as I came back, I was out for a few more minutes, and then I went live about 6:00. Like as soon as I come home, I go out and do Tidy Towns. Like I did it for an hour there when I came home, and then I went live. Then after I finished going live here earlier on at 6:00, it was about 7:00 at that time. I went outside and I had to pick up dog shit and things like that. So you keep going. Again, you have to keep going. Like it's not just a few hours, you put in the whole day. You have to go the full 5 yards, if that makes sense, full 9 yards. So, like it's a lot more respectable because you're out doing the hard work. Oh, I know, but it's not about the money. I could fucking go and, I could go to college in the morning and become fucking Timbuktu's best professor. But it's not about the money. It's, cleaning the streets, better thing to do than anything else. Again, as I say, I'm the only one picking up dog shit in County Cavan. I'm the only one literally doing the Cavan. The rest of them won't do it because the unions say not to do it. And I'm the only one who disobeys the union and says, fuck the union. Because again, a child could go and get a disease off and drop dead. So I consider if I drop dead instead of that child, it's better off. And that's the way I've seen it. And that's the way I've said about it here and in Cavan. It is the better thing to do. It is the better thing to do. Because I'm sure you would agree, Sean, it's better if I get the disease off than a young child and lifts it up the dog shit. Like even just the dog shit there. And even I have to lift dead animals off the road and things like that. Like it's awful the disease you get. There was a fox one time I lifted. It was dead in the road. It had rabies in its mouth, and I had to lift it into the truck because the other councilmen wouldn't lift it. So I had to go and do it. And blood on my hand, blood on my gloves and all over me thing because I had to try and get the thing open because they wouldn't go near it. So again, you have to put yourself in risk for the public. But anyway. Thank you, Kevin. God bless. Have a great job. Probably won't stop, man. Mind the money. Yeah, I know, but I just, as I say, I don't really want to go back to hospital. I can't. If my time comes, my time comes. I'm happy enough to go whenever. I made my peace with everything that happened in the past and things like that. So I'm happy to go at any stage. I wouldn't want to go into the hospital now and suffer. That's to be totally honest. Or take up a bed of somebody else that's a lot more worthy than me. That's a family and things like that. I wouldn't want that. No, to be totally honest. I was in the as I say, I was in the before hospital, so I'm not gonna go back. I'm happy enough. I had my chats. So that's the way I see it. I know. But anyway. As I say, it's just I have a different mindset than a lot of the civil service. Which should be probably the main mindset of it. There'd be a lot more things done in the civil service. There was a lot more people like me taking like that in the civil service, but no. Because a lot of them just not interested in doing it. Sean probably went back to bed, probably went to bed. Because I say it must be late there in Belgium now, it must be 2 o'clock in the morning now. Excuse me, sorry. No. Quite interesting, indeed, Tony. Anything else to add anyway? I think Sean's gone. I was going to ask him, but I can't remember actually. I can't remember. It was something I can't remember. I'll think about it. I'll probably come back to it. See, I debate to talk about things and then I forget what I was going to say. So that happens. That happens a lot. I just keep going on and I just forget what I've said. I was going to say sorry. Just looking at that's pretty much me, to be honest with Kevin. That's pretty much me. And out in the wet and the rain, you can get ammonia and stuff like that too. That's what happens. But it's different in Dublin compared to the counties. Because there's a lot more in Dublin city councils, obviously the county councils here. There's more people basically than there is in Dublin. Like there'll be only a few now compared to, like, say there's 5 people designated for an area in Dublin, like in a few streets or whatever. There'll be only about 2 people in Cavan designated for it at most. In some areas there might be only 1 designated. So it's a lot different though. Like, if that makes any sense. But yeah, that's basically the civil service. They all stand around and look at each other, which I haven't got any time for at all. Like, it's alright if you have to stand around and do something. Like, there's one time we were lifting stuff out of what they call a ditch. One time I was in the ditch, right, and there was 2 people there and they were on the road, right, and I was in the ditch. The ditch was here, right. The ditch was here. I think for example this was the ditch, and here was the camera is the road, and there was a bit of a steep climb to get up. And I was handing them stuff like bags and stuff that was dumped into it, and they were lifting in the truck and things like that. So sometimes the two of them had to stand looking at me for a while to get all them everything together, and I lifted it up and they put it into the truck. So sometimes they do have to stand around, unfortunately. Which I always like to just go in and fucking go balls deep. You could drive. No, I'm not going to drive a vehicle. I'm happy enough on foot. Well, I can get a lift with them obviously, but I'm not. I don't think I want to drive. I don't think I want to drive the big lorries. Like there's big council lorries now. I wouldn't want to be. Yeah, I think that it's up to them to drive. And they'd be just driving. Like I don't even think they can go fast at all. The council lorries. But I'm assuming Sean was going. I was going to say good night to Sean, but he must be gone now. But yeah, probably he has important work to do as a political advisor. I assume he advises some politician or something. So it is important that he gets his West to advise whoever it is. Anyway, what are we taking, lads? Anyway, I'll probably go now in a few minutes. Not probably about half ago. We do have work in the morning, remember, unfortunately so. A few driving lessons. See, I could do that now. I have the money there if I wish to, but I just snapped about it. But I'd say it's probably it's a good 1,000 or 2,000 anyway. I haven't checked. I haven't looked into it. But I know it's there because I was told they could claim it back and things like that. But I should look at it. I'm happy enough. Like I could go in the morning. I have a few bob thankfully if I wish to go, but I'm not bothered. I show you now. This is something I'm getting after Christmas, and you see if you look after Christmas, I tell you where the money went, and you show it. I show you then something. But that's not the tax. That's not the tax I'm claiming back. It's obviously the money I'm getting every week. You know, they only pay. You know, I have a sore throat now. But yeah, like you wouldn't be able to. Like I don't think it would be. I think I lose the plot driving the car around the place. But anyway, hopefully tomorrow I get this yoke that I'm talking about. Hopefully by tomorrow or the next day. You're talking about getting out as for walking outdoors, driving. Arthritis from arthritis, sorry. Well, yeah, it could. So again, you can get like as I said here, the disease with the dogs. You know, you really wouldn't have to worry about arthritis and things like that. Like, just without white killing, they'll be totally honest. Like there's a small chance you could live. Like you can get a disease like a blockage in your arteries from the doctor. It's worms and things like that can block your arteries and kill you. So you know, it's kind of give or take. You know, you kind of expect, and I kind of expect any day of the week to drop dead. To be totally honest, because it's always kind of it's always a possibility. Like I could have it at the moment, I wouldn't know. But yeah, that's why I'm in regularly with the doctor to check. Because there is no cure for it, so you know if it does happen, like it does. So that's why nobody does it. So because it is a dangerous job. Whatever about arthritis and things like that, you could get obviously get loads of dampness and things, pleurosin and what do you call it? There's another thing you get, but I can't remember what it's called. Pleurosin, ammonia, yeah. Like, because oftentimes I come home and I'm in wet clothes. Like even today, I was in wet clothes because I was in shocks and things, and the shocks are wet and through fucking where the legal dumping is, it's just miserable fucking areas. And you're just drenched and you're in your wet clothes all day. So you know, it's not good for your lungs or your bowels or anything. But yeah. It's gonna give or take, so it is. I do pity people who are out walking in the rain and things like that. It's not the best experience. But yeah, it's true. It can get arthritis too, being outside, particularly that. Oh, we're 5 people here. Hello. Sorry, my throat is going now. And anything else before you? But yeah, so we're gonna have hopefully tomorrow or Monday we have this yoke to show to talk about, and probably there's something next week too to talk about. to show you. So yeah. So, yeah. So I'm just laughing at a meme as union discount, union doctors if you work for the government to check what's you have to think about your future health. I know, but I'm kind of past that already. I'm kind of past worrying about it. Like yeah, but I go into my doctor and he checks and things with that. But so yeah, I'm not that worried about it. I'm not really that worried about it. Again, if I'm going to drop, I'm going to drop. I'm kind of like when I first started doing it, I was kind of iffy about it, but I kind of just made my peace with it, and that's really it. But yeah, it's not saying it will happen. Yeah, but I'm just saying it is a possibility. It can happen, but you never know what can happen. Because again, there's worms in the dog shit that you pick up, and again, it's even toxic fumes and things like that. But because again, there's some dog shit. I hate to be discussing things like that, but you have to lift up for you that are there. Probably donkeys using some areas. And obviously you can yourself it wouldn't be the most healthiest thing to pick up. And then obviously human shit too. I had to clean one day there on the town hall. I don't know if you know the town hall in Cavan, the toilets there. Once Monday morning there I went in and there was human shit all over the fucking couch and it was all over everything. I think I have a photo. I might discuss people, but I don't know, should I show it? I think I actually have a photo of someone. Give me 2 seconds, I might find it. If people want me to show it now. Yeah. Yeah, if people want me to show it, I can show it. I ask people if you want to show it. Now this was some of the tiles. You picked up, but it was your own dog, Tony. It wasn't like if it's your own dog, it's fair enough. Like, oh, I know, but I'm talking about I'm picking up after other people's dog. I'm not picking up after my own dog. Things like that. Like these are dogs that stay here for years. Were you on the couch? Were you on the couch ones there, Tony? But if it was your own dog, my own dog. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if it's fresh out of the dog, it's safe enough. But if it's left lying there for a few days, then it starts to get the worms and things like that. It's always as soon as the dog. But yeah, that's good to know. But you're safe enough. Yeah, you're safe enough when it just comes out. Basically, if it's on the wall and just comes out. But if it's there years, then it's a problem. Or if it's there a few months, like it does take a few weeks for the worms to get out of the toxic fumes and things like that. Come on, George. My ex counts. Are you? My ex is in the. Oh, your ex is in the. Your woman. All right. But yeah, though it is dangerous. But no, but it's safe enough doing it as long as you have a bag and things. It's safe enough. Like it's alright, but if it's fresh, it's safe enough. But it's when it's lying there, like as I say, and lifting ones that are there donkeys use. So and some of them are there muds and God knows what. It's pretty safe when it's fresh, pretty much. But yeah, I'll show you now. I hope we don't discuss it. But yeah, that was the nice scene. It was all over the sink and all that behind it too. The sink and all that, the toilet. As you can see there, the shit was all over. It was all over the walls and everything. It was all over everything. It was basically everything. And somebody literally went with their hands and put it on the wall and stuff like that. So, and I had to clean that, and I only had wipes. That's all I had. We had nothing else we had to clean. We had a mop to clean up the bits on the floor. But yeah, you know yourself, again, God knows what could have been in it, and it's dangerous enough job now. Because you just don't know what's in it, like worms and toxics. Again, toxics, you go into your mouth and things like that. But yeah, there's a lot of disgusting people in this world, unfortunately. You know yourself. I hope we didn't discuss anybody out of that now. But I was just briefly just saying, because I had to clean it up and all that. I was waging, yeah, pretty much, yeah. But I was just using that as context based just to say, it's not the most nicest job to do now. Yeah, so sorry if discussed that, but that's what your like I'm just saying that people, you have to respect people like who are on the couch and things like that. You respect them because it is a hard enough life now. I do pity people, but the majority, like I had to do it because they're the ones who wouldn't do it. The three other people who were asked to, they didn't want to do it. They said they were going to go to the union. So no, we weren't going to go to. They just utterly refused. I don't think they said they were going to go to the union. They just utterly refused not to do it. They said they're not going to do it, and that's it. So I was the only one who had to do it. There's nobody else going to do it. But yeah, that just goes back to the point that I threw myself into there. In private card, because of COVID-19, the unions told them that he has work not to clean up people's shit. That's what I'm saying, yeah, but I was basically told to do something about it. And because it was a public toilet, so we had to move ourselves on to do something about it. But that's what I'm saying, but it's a dangerous enough job now. But see, that'd cost the kids a lot of money if I went and whinged and they said utterly refused, because the other ones refused to do it. But yeah, that'd cost the kids a good few bob to get a private contract away. So at least I saved the kids a bit of money. That's the best part. At least I saved a bit of money. Because it wouldn't have been cheap now to get a private. I know there's a private contract because I heard them getting them before. But you'd be paying a few bob. You'd be paying upwards of €1,000 probably to get them out to do it. And at least they saved the state some money. And that's one out of many occasions. Just to say, that's one out of many occasions I had to go out and do stuff like that. There's another picture I took out from my phone. It's of a bench. It was on a bench. It was on a public bench there, and I had to go and clean it. It was all over the bench and everything was on the ground and things. I had to clean it up. And you look, it was a mess thing. And then I could show you a dog and puke and stuff like that. There's other photos of puke and stuff like that. It's not the nice, but I feel sorry for caretakers and too in school and all that. It's not the nicest job. But again, it just goes back, and as I say about the fox who had rabies once I lifted. I had to lift it in my arms to lift it into the truck to get rid of it, and we disposed of it then. But he had rabies conceived in his mouth, had rabies while busted up. But the same with Seven, you're lifting God knows what kind of dead animals to have God knows what kind of diseases in them. So, it's the same with we were told, at least the only thing we were told at the moment, we were told not to lift any boards at the moment. Like boards, because there's bird flu in County Monaghan now. So we were told for the moment not to lift it. Unless absolutely necessary. So that was what was issued the last 3 weeks ago. We were told not to lift unless absolutely necessary. So we'll see what happens. But that came out last 3 weeks ago, yeah. Because there's bird flu, so that's what we were told. But anyway, look, as I say, I'm happy to solve the public anyway. It's not like, I don't mean to sound like a complaint, it's just showing you really what people in the couches and stuff had to put up with and things like that. I'm happy enough, I'm not whinging about it. I'm just kind of saying, look at this is what we have to deal with, and like, you might say the couch is standing around doing nothing, but it is a hard enough job. Not easy. But anyway, what do we take? Let me just see, sorry. Where did I put that yolk? There it is. Bag of lemons. A bag of what? With a face mask on. Yeah, see, I used to lift the dog shit with the face mask, but I look utterly ridiculous going around with the face mask lifting dog shit. That's what I said. So I said I would do that. Like the beginning when I started doing it, but then I said it's no point because you just be taking it off and on, you'd be fidgeting it, and God forbid one time I did have dog shit on my glove, right, and I happened just to go for my pocket, right, to get my phone out. I didn't know it was on my glove. and I put it all over my trousers and things like that. So I had to go and wash it off and things like that. So it can happen. So if you like, you know the way you fidget with your face mask, and I think because I have a face mask on, you're always fidgeting with it. So you know the doctor. So you'd be better off really not having it on you because you'd be only fidgeting with it. And you'd probably putting it up to your eye. God forbid if it was on your glove and things like that. Because you can go blind too. That's another thing. You can go blind too. So it's dangerous enough. So you always have to be cautious about it. Even though I have a scoop yoke and things like that, but you know, sometimes you have to. You know, sometimes you have to touch it to move it on the scoop and things like that. But you know, you have to do your duty for the county. Like I don't mind doing it. You know, I don't mind doing it. Like I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't. How would I put it? I don't know how to describe it. But you know, at the end of the day, I probably would miss it if I didn't do it. Out of it all hands, because I'm so used to doing these things now. It's just everyday occurrence. Some of these things, like as I said, the shit all over the floor and things might be wet. Sometimes it depends. Might be what's a blue moon. Um, but you know, I'm not that bothered about it. But the point is too that you know the people in like the overseas and stuff like that, they don't force you to do it. You can say you don't want to do and things like that. Because again, at the end of the day, you have a union and things. If you wish to go to them and things about different things, but you know, I just kind of go on and do it regardless. You know, that's the way I kind of see the civil service. You just kind of get on with and do it. You know, that's the way I see it. But I'm a different kettle of fish. That's the thing. My tablet's nearly dying. No, it's not dying. It's 54%. Oh, I know what you're saying, Kevin, but I kind of would rather because, as I say, I did have a at the start when I was picking the dog, but I was often afraid about lifted it. As I say, but that time I had it before. It looked awful stupid going around because I didn't notice it for a good while, and I was going around the town, and then like in the centre of the town with dog shit on my side, because I didn't notice it because I was literally lifting it up, and I must have reached for my phone because my phone was going off at the same time, and you know, so you imagine like going and putting it up your face. I wouldn't have known. So it was, yeah. It's not like that I'm specifically asked with the couch, you know, I do really, because as soon as I see something, you know, I have to do it because it's the public, it's all from the public, you know. Because, you know, I remember one time a man, I was on one of the side roads, a man was lifting, I think it was a dead rabbit or hare or something like that. And you remember the public shouldn't have to get out of their car, or not get out of the car, but come out of their house. I think it was he would live beside it and lift the rabbit around him, even though he was thrown at the shock and things like that. But he shouldn't, you know, he shouldn't have to do that. And I even said to him, he shouldn't have to do it because there's people, you know, there's people paid to do it, basically. You know, he has better things to be doing with his life than, you know, going out of his house with a shovel to lift it. I know people might say, I should look at it, you know, it's only literally a 5 minute thing, literally 2 minute thing to do. Especially if you live on the road or something like that. So yeah, what are we taking now? We stopped talking about work and all that thing. It's Friday. It's Friday. Let's not talk about it. It's Friday. It's Friday feeling. How about that? So let's forget about work. Let's forget about work for the moment. Because you know, I know somebody too that you know never stops talking about work. I hate to turn into him. Like just literally everything's about work. Like at least I talk about other things, but you know he talks about work all the time. And you know he's a tradesman. I suppose he's self-employed too. But you know, there's only so much you can talk about doing work and like that. But yeah, I don't know. That probably sounds a bit hypocritical, but he never like he wouldn't talk. Like he wouldn't have an ordinary conversation. We just keep on about work. At least he can talk to me, and about the football or something like that, and I would have an ordinary conversation with him. And then, you know, I'm going to bed. I probably have to do the same, Kevin, because we have work in the morning. So, unless I'm going to. Oh God, there's a thing. Sorry, give me 1 second. Sorry. Hide user, please. Thank you. Stop with the spam. No, get out. Sorry. Take your money. I know you might post and enjoy. Good night. Take care, Kevin. Thank you as always. I hope I wasn't whinging too much. I was kind of just. I don't know how I got to that. Like speaking about all these things. I don't know how. See, that's what happens. I think it was Sean just talking about the things, and I was just basically giving examples of stuff. And I think that's why I went onto this long tyrant. So excuse me for that. I hope you didn't mind me going on this long tyrant about different things. I have to lie down. It's serious. I can't sense it. What? I'm getting pain in my head. Are you sure you're just not eating too much, Tony? That could be it. Because it's not really the best thing to be eating too much now at night. Supposedly so. That's what some doctor said once. But anyway, I think I would tip on it because I'm sure you have work tomorrow too. I'm sure everybody here has work tomorrow and we have to get up. But yeah, I hope everybody has a half day at least anyway, so at least you won't have to deal with it too much tomorrow now. So yeah, anything else just before we go? Any last comments before we go tonight? Night, Tony. So nothing else that. I'm assuming nobody else had anything else that. But yeah, I hope I didn't go spit out now by showing that picture of the toilet. I feel bad now. I hope people fighting the fuck out of me. I just pressed something by mistake. Fucking scary music. But yeah, thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Tony, as always. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, everyone. I wish Sean would have stayed there. I could have said goodbye to him, but he kind of just left. But anyway, I talked to him probably tomorrow. So yeah, take care, everyone. Enjoy the Westie night. Enjoy tomorrow. Hopefully the weather will be a bit more better tomorrow too. So yeah, take care, everyone, and bye. Good night.